He's back, guys. Bernie can still win. He just needs an additional $200 million from the working class, so he can use it to help the top 1%, meaning him. Bernie Sanders is one of those people who, on the surface, appears to mean well, but the more you look into his life and who he really is, the less this seems to be the case. Bernie No Refund Sanders took the money and ran away in 2016 after winning the Democratic nomination, which was given to Hillary Clinton anyway despite his winning of it. The DNC was actually sued for this, and their defense was, "We're a private business." Really gets that noggin jogging, eh? Still, as soon as it became obvious that Bernie would have to stand up straight, stand up for himself, his donors, and the people he claims that he wants to help, this weak-willed fraud took his millions and ran. And now, he needs more. Perhaps he needs another house, maybe another yacht. Something to that effect. Hey, who wants to match me? Bernie's platform is simple enough. You can just walk up and take it from him. Like the pathetic man he is, he won't even try to stop you.
Thank you, Seattle, for being one of the most progressive cities in the United States of America.
We are trying. We're gonna let you on the mic.
Activists who last year shut down a holiday tree lighting in the same park today prevented the most progressive candidate for president from speaking to thousands of people who came to hear him.
We are shutting.
Shut it down.
We will shut it down.
After about 20 minutes, Sanders' wife Jane appeared to give the signal it was time to go.
Now that is some leadership material. Just bending the knee like that so easily. He was so eager to run away, it was almost like he had $200 million in his pocket again. All joking aside, Bernie has a platform that promises free community college, and he also promises to raise minimum wage up to $15 an hour, as if that'll just make everything better. If Bernie was at all in touch with the working class, he would know that increasing minimum wage will have effects that raise the overall cost of living. If Bernie was at all in touch with the working class, or common sense, he would understand that by giving people free community college, it would effectively make community college worthless. A move like this would devastate the economy and drive inflation, but don't try to tell the man who couch surfed his entire life that. Raising minimum wage drastically like this would only make life more difficult for the very people he says he stands for. You see, Bernie claims to know better than the working man what is good for the working man. Under Bernie's guidance, the top 1% boogeyman will pay for everything. Businesses are bad, remember? Even small local businesses received animosity from Bernie Sanders. He really does not like ownership or entrepreneurialism.
This country was founded on entrepreneurship. Why is this administration so against the business owner? Please tell me.
I don't think this administration, the Obama administration you're referring to, is so against the business owners. When you talk about tax increases, Obama did. I don't know your income, and I'm not concerned about your income. Obama did raise taxes on the top. He raised taxes on the top 1 or 2%.
Top 1%. He just can't shut up about the top 1%. Hey, Bernie, what have you ever done to actually go after the top 1%? Oh, nothing. You've only gone after the bottom 99%. Hey, Bernie, if you want to rip off any more people, I'm pretty sure there's a homeless person down the street you could take the rest of his cash that he was going to use to buy a tall can of beer. I mean, you've already gone this far. You might as well go rob that guy, too.
And you know what? I would have gone further. I think the wealthiest people in this country are doing phenomenally well. 52% of all new income generated today goes to the top 1%.
There he is with the top 1% propaganda again. He needs to justify his existence somehow. Top 1%. Bernie! You're in the top 1%. Who the hell are you to lecture us?
I'm a business owner. I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not a billionaire. Okay? I mean, you haven't lived until you put a payroll on your credit card. You know, I mean, this is the reality of the backbone of this country.
Well, the backbone of this country, I think we should support entrepreneurship. What does that mean? Should a small business or a large business be able to pollute the water or the air or the food? No, I hope you don't believe that.
I don't pollute air, I don't pollute water, I don't pollute food. However, when these rules and regulations come in to cover all of business, and you're trying to start a business, it's tough enough in the
Jim, I think we should take a look at it, but it's, the devil is in the details. We got to see what those regulations are.
I'm not sure if you guys speak hack fraud, but when somebody says, the devil's in the details, we'll look at it later, it means you're uninformed and you were not equipped to come to this town hall debate, Bernie Sanders. You don't know what you're talking about. This is an average Joe and he just gave you some straight facts and you're just like, I don't know, we'll have to look at it. It reminded me of when Nancy Pelosi went up there with the Obamacare bill saying, we have to pass this before we can know what's inside of it. What is that? The very fact that anyone bought that is astounding to me. 100% of the people in this country should have heard that and went, okay, that's BS. Let's open the thing up and read it. Bernie Sanders is your typical brainwashed, useful idiot, chasing the relevancy that he had in 2016 in order to solidify some sort of legacy. He does stand a decent chance, though, considering that the media hasn't yet started to promote Clinton as the next selected champion. Remember, the DNC, they're a private business. It doesn't matter who you vote for to nominate. They're a private business. They can just throw all of your votes out the window. That's their defense. Remember, they were sued for that, and that was their defense. We're a private business. We actually don't have to engage in democracy. The Democratic Party saying we don't have to engage in democracy. You couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, what is the DNC going to do? Are they going to run somebody like Joe Biden? I somehow don't think that will go over very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, nice to see you guys. Thank you. See you back home, I hope.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Thank you.
Now that is just textbook Democrat right there. I know some of you might be a little skeptical. Hey, that's taken out of context. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for that. Well, try to find a reasonable explanation behind the dozens of other situations just like that one. Some of them including children flinching when he tries to touch them. Those kids were scared of him in a lot of cases. In fact, at the end of this video, I'll have a little bit of a compilation. So, look forward to that. There is an old saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. After the way this hack took $200 million from the poor and the working class and ran away with it, anybody who gives this guy money deserves it. Already, he has raised over $3 million within a day just by saying that Orange Man is bad and that he will start giving people tons of free stuff like college and healthcare. He also mentions criminal justice reform, though if he was pushed, I don't think he'd be able to expand on it. It's a nice little talking point, and I'm sure he was told that he should bring up, but if you were to ask him how he would actually reform criminal justice, he'd stare at you like a deer in the headlights. You might be thinking that the left has become united behind Bernie in order to push him forward. After all, anything to stop Drumpf, right? There is no cost too high to own the cons, just look at Jussie Smollett. Well, already, our corporately designed propagandists have informed us that perhaps Bernie is not the biologically viable candidate that they were hoping for.
Here are all the Democrats the New York Times says are either running or might run. There you go. What's up, Evidently, the Democratic Party has been passing out a mirror that says, 2020, why not you?
Did you catch that? It was a bit subtle, but don't worry. Colbert always is very clear with what he says because he can't exactly count on the wit and the cleverness of his audience to pick up on his cues. He has to be very clear in what he wants his audience to think.
The field is also way more diverse this time with multiple women, people of color, the first openly gay major party presidential candidate. But Sanders, for all that diversity, Bernie Sanders does not believe that hurts his chances.
They have not learned how much this pushes away people who are on the fence, but as the saying goes, never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. Keep doing what you're doing, late night entertainers. This will surely work out this time. I just don't see how this could possibly alienate anybody.
Hey, pay attention. You're like a Cavaliers fan who goes to the games and boos when LeBron dunks with the wrong hand. Because of you, Bernie is going to have to campaign for Hillary every day until Election Day, and he shouldn't have to do that. One, because he hates her, It's just unlike you, he's adult enough to pretend he doesn't. Bernie did a great job. You did a great job. Your passion changed the Democratic Party, and that is no small thing. You should be proud of yourselves for his campaign, but also you have to be quiet now. Now is the time to be quiet.
I know I've already said what I have to say for the most part, but I feel a need to reiterate. What I find so morally repugnant about all of this is that Bernie was a guy that told everybody he cared about the working class. He cared about poor people, he said, yet he has done nothing tangible to actually help the working class. Have you seen him working at a Goodwill or serving soup at a homeless shelter? If he has done these, did he bring a camera crew for PR, or did he go solo to show how much he does indeed care for the economically deficient? Did Bernie use his money attained by giving the frustrated hope of a better life to help the poor in any way? Did he donate Christmas gifts to orphans? Did he walk into a poor neighborhood and throw $100 bills everywhere? Of course he didn't. This guy capitalizes on people who like to believe that someone will come in, say all of the right things, and help everyone. People like to believe in a hero. Bernie is anything but a hero. Bernie is a man who wants to take from those that can provide for themselves and give some of it to those that refuse to provide for themselves. Keep in mind that a sizable chunk goes to that top 1%. When Bernie says he only wants to go after the top 1%, he certainly doesn't include himself as a multimillionaire, but he does include small businesses with a handful of employees, demanding that these small employers pay healthcare for all of their employees, even if they can't break even. This pathetic excuse for a man wants to take from those that are providing and push them to the point of having to shut down their businesses and become one of the people dependent on one of his policies in order to survive. That is the long con that is going here. People elect socialists who bankrupt the lower middle and middle classes, and this creates more people that depend on these policies ensuring their votes in the future. Bernie's ideology is one that gives a man a fish rather than teaching them how to fish. It's all short-term, slowly turning productive members of society into total deadbeats. This is the long-term goal of socialism, to push the bottom 99% closer together so the top 1% that Bernie keeps claiming he's against can take more and more from the middle. There is more to unpackage about Bernie Sanders since he's going to be around more often. This will be a bit of a series, so stay tuned for my, let's just call it constant shitting on Bernie Sanders. But anyway, that'll be it for now. Here it is, your moment of clarity.
Thank you. Thank you.
We met Kathy in kindergarten. She was too young to resist. She should have known better, but she did it anyway. Thank you, Kathy. See you, beautiful child.
All right,
Just
guys.
remember, no dates or boys to your You remember what I told you? No, not smile. No date to your 30. Yeah, here to say yeah. No dates to your 30. It was wonderful. My mom loved it. Dad used to say, your granddaughters have one important job. Take care of the father.
Could you guys